Do you use glitter in your resin artworks? Well, recently I've been getting a number of different packets of glitter, and I also received this mould in an order from Temu, which you can see a video about next week, and I thought now was an opportunity to combine them both and try it out. First off, I just wanted to apologise. I've come down with a cold, and so I'm going to sound pretty terrible in this voiceover, but I need to get this video done, so I've got to just go with the flow. And talking about flow, that's a good segue into the resin I used on this project. So I actually used a deep cast resin because it was quite a deep mould, and I thought it was better off for this to cure over 2 or 3 days, which normally happens when you're using a deep cast. It takes a lot longer to cure, releases more air bubbles over that time, and normally you get a pretty good result. So in with the glitter, I had a variety of different types of glitter here. I've gone with a purple colour, so I've got some purple dye to go and dye the resin, and then I've got some just normal glitter, as well as some hearts, stars and moon shapes, which I've used in this. So I kind of wanted to go with a bit of a mystical container. This is going to be for my daughter for some of her jewellery to keep in, and so coming up to Halloween is a good time, you know, stars, moons, etc., all for that witching hour for Halloween. I started off just with the purple resin dye for the first sort of pour that I did before. In this one I wanted the bottom to be a bit darker, so I'd hoped that would transition from a dark bottom to a lighter top. So I put both the purple and a black. I think, however, I put too much black in this, and you'll see that a little bit later on. But once again, in with the glitter, make it nice and sparkly, and along with those moon and star shapes. So fill the resin right to the brim. You may not know, but what happens with resin when it cures, it actually shrinks a little bit. You do then also get something called surface tension, where the silicon meets the resin. That cannot shrink as much, and sometimes you get a lip there. So it's always good to try to sometimes even just go a little bit above the brim, but it's just depending on what you can do, because it's going to shrink back down. So the last step in this is to do the lid, and I've once again just used some purple in this one, along with some glitter and those hearts and stars, etc. Used quite a few of them in the lid because I wanted to get a really good effect, just with lots of them floating around.
3 days later.
Casting resin takes longer to set, and so it was 3 days later before this was ready for demoulding. Time for that unmoulding process. This is normally the most satisfying part of a project, when you get to take that silicone away and see what the end result is. So I'm really pleased at how this lid turned out. As you can see, once we get it off there, it's quite transparent, and so has that nice purple tint to it, with being able to see all those different bits of glitter in there, along with the hearts and moons and stars. This main mould was quite tricky to get off. I had to sort of get that initial grip, and then once I managed to get that, it was fine, but just trying to get that lip up was a bit of a challenge to start with. Once you did have it, however, it was just essentially a matter of working away around the mould and then pulling that jar out from the mould. And here we have it, the finished product. So it came out really nice at the top. I quite liked how it was a similar match to the lid, so that worked really well. However, I think I just put too much of the black resin dye in, because the remaining of it was quite dark, and even though it was filled with lots of glitter and the stars and moon, etc. type of glitter, you couldn't actually see them that well unless you held it up to the light. I'm actually really happy with how this mould came out. As you can see there, On the top there is a thread, and the lid threaded on perfectly to the jar, so it makes a fantastic jar. So the mould did its job and made a jar which is perfect for keeping jewellery or knickknacks or the like. So even though I wasn't 100% happy with putting too much of the black resin dye in the mix, I still think that this is going to be something that my daughter is going to love. She's 12 years old and now is starting to get a collection of earrings and bits and pieces of jewellery, so this makes a fantastic little gift for her. I'll put a link to the Temu mould in the description below in case it's something that you want to purchase. As I said, the mould is pretty good and a good value for money. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thanks very much for watching. If you're not a subscriber already, I'd love for you to join my community, so hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you can be informed when these videos are released weekly. Thanks very much. Until next time, keep creating.